Welcome to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Elizabeth D'Orazio. We are again at MJ Harrington Jewelry. David Lantz and his talented team continue the family's tradition of superb customer service with an emphasis on exceptional jewelry. Today, our Abby Peel will head downstairs to the MJ Harrington Jewelry workshop and visit with their fine craftsmen and see them at work. Ben Cusick and his desk job team will give us a wrap-up of their efforts this year. Pastor Glidewell will invite us to the ecumenical gathering to celebrate the reason for the season with lessons and carols. And we will close our final visit to Bark and Bray Sanctuary Farm as we meet some of the beautiful and friendly wards there. But first, these messages from other good local businesses that are underwriting today's show. Remember, buying local is an important way to sustain the communities and the programs we all love.
This program is supported by Main Street Bookends of Warner for books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm Elizabeth D'Orazio, your host. Our Abby Peel has had a chance to head downstairs here and meet with and see the applied craftsmanship of their talented staff. Abby?
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, coming to you from a sneak peek place here at MJ Harrington Jewelers. We're down here in the shop and we get to talk to one of the jewelers down here. I'm joined by Kenny Bergeron, who's one of the bench jewelers down here. Talk about what we're looking at and kind of your workspace here.
Okay. Well, what we're looking at here, this is our scope, and I use this for all the stone setting. And it's kind of cool to be able to get close and kind of see every little detail, what you got to file away and make sure that stone sits just right.
Okay.
Then you have a little torch set up over here. This is for doing all your soldering.
Okay.
But then this bench right here will do all filing and sawing and sanding, kind of clean it all up, and then we can go over different steps as well over in the corner here and do the rest of the stuff, which would be polishing it up and doing a final polish.
Amazing. And are you everything from repairs and to creating something brand new? What's the process? How do people start that?
Well, it's really, sometimes people just come in and they'll say, I would like to design something. So a lot of people know beforehand that we do that. Some people don't, so we advertise, you know, that stuff in the papers. But it starts as a nice little sit down and, you know, I get to know the customer and we have a little back and forth. And then they'll approve the sketches and we'll get a little, you know, price range and all that for them. But they're usually involved like quite a few steps in the process. And then every once in a while what I'll do is I'll send them like a couple pictures here and there.
Yeah.
This is the progress so far.
Cool.
And doing that. And they love that. They have that little bit of input.
Sure.
And it's really fun. So they'll do that whole design and then later on they'll come back and we'll see the final piece and pick it up. And
really cool that you're part of that whole process.
Yeah, it is really cool. I mean, quite a few where they love to keep the stones and we'll remelt the gold and make something brand new out of it. And so it's still every little bit theirs. And all we did was just the process of making it something different.
Yeah, so cool.
It all starts right there.
So someone's designed that, now you're making it come to life.
Yep.
And we all kind of have different things that we do, like that our own design sense like brings us to. So
sure.
So there's those kind of things. I mean, I generally go more contemporary and a little cleaner.
Okay.
Look, Tom Armstrong upstairs. He's another jeweler designer here. You know, he's a little more traditional. He has more of a watchmaking background.
Cool.
You know, Kenny also does very contemporary, clean-looking stuff. You know, a lot of things like that.
Sure.
So it's a lot of fun.
You talk about some of the things that you use regularly, tools, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously the benches are somewhat the same. I mean, we all kind of have our own modify it to fit our own style, but for the most part, you know, you have a pin and there's this distance here between the drawer to catch all of the sweeps that we call them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the remnants, yep.
Torch, you know, talking about custom work, I'm just getting ready to melt some of customers' old metal here and pour an ingot and then roll that out and make some rings from that.
And make one thing out of all of those?
Well, I'm going to make 2 rings. We'll see. Hopefully there'll be enough metal there.
Okay, okay.
We'll see. We have laser welder, which is kind of an interesting device.
Yeah.
It's a yttrium aluminum garnet crystal that's in there, and it's basically, it is just a laser, and it just melts little tiny pieces of metal.
Fascinating.
So it makes certain things very easy, easier than it used to be. It's easy to tack stuff together and get ready to solder then.
How many projects do you have going at once? Are you working on one thing and wait till it's done to move on to the next? Do you have multiple going at one time?
I probably will have 2 or 3 of them going at one time.
Okay.
And then as I'm moving along, I'll go over here to the polishing and polish up some of them and get them cleaning.
Sure.
Or I'll have to put them into the sonic cleaner beforehand, to get them cleaned up enough to work on.
Okay, and people are waiting to hear from you. What's the status of my project, right?
You get a lot of calls, people asking about their...
Yeah. Talk about working here at MJ Harrington's. I mean, you've been here a while, and you've clearly been a staple here for a long time.
Well, it's really a lot of fun, some jewelry shops are different, but we kind of deal with everything, restorations and repairs and all kinds of stuff. And because of my metalsmithing background, we do a lot of like hollowware and teapots and candlesticks and things like that as well. We had someone bring in a big bronze sculpture one time that they need a little piece repaired on.
No, and you can do that?
Sometimes, it depends, All
right, we won't market it too much.
Depends on what tools we would need to do it, But we are set up mainly for jewelry, for smaller work.
Sure.
So some of the bigger stuff can be a little tough.
I have to say one of the things about MJ Harrington's is I've never heard David or anyone here say no. He always says, let me look to see if we can do it. And I think that's really interesting. And also talking to your point of what people have brought in before, you wouldn't think to bring in something like that, but you kind of make it happen here.
When Dave's dad owned the place, I was working here. Actually, someone brought in a carburetor from an old tractor for me to work on.
No way. All right. Little small engine shop, too.
Right,
how about that? Have you ever been out in public and seen somebody, a necklace, ring, earrings, and been like, oh, I designed that?
Yeah, in fact, when I do the craftsman show, I have people come into my booth and say, oh, look, you made this for me, or wearing the pendant,
Very cool.
It's kind of fun to see.
Yeah, that's like a big pat on the back for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, it's so great to see the behind-the-scenes aspect of this. I myself have had jewelry repaired here, and I never knew what it looked like to have it down here, but it's really fun to see how this all operates, and your craft is really incredible. So thank you for telling me all about it.
Thank you.
Nicely done, gents. These guys are all highly trained and talented goldsmiths. They work right here on site and are proficient in a wide array of jewelry repair services as well as custom designs. When we return, we'll get a wrap-up of this year's duck drop raising funds for the Boys and Girls Club of Central New Hampshire. But first, keep on watching your Yankee Chronicle as we hear from another of the fine businesses that are involved in making this show happen for you.
This program is supported by the Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge-Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.
Welcome to Yankee Chronicle. I'm Elizabeth Durazio, your host. Every October, Ben Cusick and his crew of supporters come together to raise funds for the local Boys and Girls Club. I hear that they exceeded all their expectations with their duck drop this year. Tell us about it, Brett.
So this year's event was a great success. Once people arrive, they come and they get their ducks. They're registered to them. They jump on the chairlift and throw the ducks off into targets that are built and branded by local companies. And each target represents a prize that is donated and furnished by those companies. This year we had 30 targets with huge prizes in addition to some smaller prizes in an auction. Over 21,000 ducks thrown off the chairlift. It was a beautiful sunny day. We sold out of our ducks, which we plan on doing every year from here on forward. We raised about $153,000, which brings our 8-year total to just over $870,000. So next year we will be shooting for the $1 million mark. So our funds go towards the Boys and Girls Club of the greater Kearsarge area. This year we had a sports auction. We had all kinds of benefits going on throughout the day, events for the kids. It was just a wonderful day had by all.
So yeah, hands down, this is one of our favorite events of the year. It's a real partnership with the community. A lot of our operations guys who are usually doing everything but facing the guests. They're right there with the guests, and they're putting out the targets the day before, and it's an exciting time for them. They start planning well ahead about where they're going to put stuff, and it's exciting for everybody because we all get to kind of step out of our day-to-day role and be really engage with the community, and we do a hayride, we do bouncy house for the kids, all kinds of stuff. Food and Beverage does a great barbecue, and it's just, like I said, it's just a huge event for the community to enjoy.
Okay, well, as president of Crown Point Cabinetry, a local business here in New Hampshire, I could not be more thrilled to support this event and this organization. I got to tell you, we've been a supporter since day one. You know, hard to not support the Boys and Girls Club, but this event is so much fun. It's off the charts. We bring our grandkids, and I got to tell you, the thrill of dropping a little duck off a chairlift into a target. Sometimes the wind's blowing. These ducks don't weigh a lot. It is so much fun. Everybody comes up and does it. They're like, oh, we had the best time ever. We're coming back next year. We're bringing friends. We're going to get more ducks. It's so much fun. And as a sponsor, we provide a target. And I'll be honest with you about our strategy. Our strategy is to make the target big enough so multiple people have a chance to land in it. And they're going to draw one of those ducks, because if you got more than one duck in it, then you've got to draw a duck. The thought process is, let's bring excitement. We give away a $500 gift card, and when somebody drops a duck and they're like, I've got a chance to win the $500 gift card. So my grandson, he wants to win the gift card we've donated. I'm just telling you, it is so much fun. It's a great cause. We'll be back again next year. Can't love it enough.
So I'm Nick with KBC Builders. We're happy to be a part of the program, and I have kids, young kids who were able to partake in it and had an absolute blast. And I was young once and able to benefit from Boys and Girls Club and want my kids to have that same ability and opportunity. We're in our second year of being a part of the fundraiser, and my kids could not have had more fun, and from a company perspective, it's exactly in line with what we want to support the community with and give the kids in this area more recreational opportunities. It's actually as much fun to put together the target and choose the prize that the kids can have an opportunity to win as it is to attend the event. My kids had a blast giving me ideas for what they would want if they won the target. And it was exciting to watch them drop their ducks in the hopes that they could win what they had chosen.
So the Boys and Girls Club in the Kearsarge-Sunapee region has several locations in Andover, Sutton, New London, and Newport. We serve over 300 kids in the community. We've served over 20,000 meals and snacks to the kids. And it's because of the support of Brett and his team and these supporters that we get to continue to grow in these smaller communities and provide for the kids and do what we can.
So if you want to get involved, our website is nhduckdrop.com, and we're coming up on our 9th year. This next year will be over Columbus Day weekend, like we've done in previous years. It'll be Sunday, October 12th, 2025. Again, you can buy your ducks online ahead of time. That is nhduckdrop.com. We're looking for more sponsors. This year we had 63 local companies, which was amazing, and we'd like to make that a larger number. At $870,000 raised to date, we will be breaking the $1 million mark this year, and we need your help to come and do that. So please look us up on nhduckdrop.com, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you to North Cape Design Build for spearheading this effort. And mark your calendar for next October to help them hit that $1 million mark. When we return to MJ Harrington Jewelry, we'll hear from Pastor Charles Glidewell with an invitation to this year's Lessons and Carols, celebrating the reason for the season, the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Please stay tuned.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating.
Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
What a privilege it is today. We're at the First Baptist Church in New London, and we're speaking with Pastor Glidewell. Hi, Pastor.
Hi, great to be with you.
Oh, it's so good to see you. Every time we get together, you have something really wonderful to talk about. And I have to ask you before we start, how many years have you been here for?
I'm in my 14th year here. I just finished up 13 years.
How did that happen?
You tell me.
You blink of an eye, right?
Blink of an eye.
Yes.
Our kids are growing up, and it's all happening really, really fast.
In a wonderful community.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It really is.
My wife and I, we didn't even know what we were getting coming here, but how blessed we all are.
Well, we're blessed to have you. And you have been continuing this wonderful, wonderful event that happens right at the Christmas season. Tell us about it for those of us who are new to it.
Yeah, that's right. So our annual Lessons and Carols service here at the First Baptist Church, and we invite other churches to be a part of it. We call it, it's one of our ecumenical services that we do every year, and that's one of them, the Lessons and Carols service. The area choirs, the choirs from other churches partner together. They share the responsibility, the music directors do, share the leadership and rehearse the traditional Christmas hymns and carols that we sing, and people from, not only from churches, but just anyone from the community attends.
You know, if you haven't been, I strongly suggest it. This has been going on for decades. I used to bring my children when they were little, and now they're not little anymore. Yeah.
It is a lovely service and a lovely way to enter into the season.
It really is. And you know, what's wonderful is the collaboration, the ecumenical aspect of it. Tell us about it. Is that hard, easy, or is it?
Very easy. I mean, it's actually quite natural. I mean, we're all Christians, right? Worshiping at different churches, but here for the same occasion, right? To celebrate the birth of Christ into the world, to sing those 9 hymns, and to read those 9 lessons that tell the story.
Oh, don't even mention any of the hymns. I'll start to tear up.
Yeah.
It is every year I come and sit in the pews, and what a beautiful setting. And you see all the choirs just dotted around the balcony. It's magnificent.
It is.
It really is. So when you're working with the churches on this, do you have a lot of practices, or does it just kind of happen organically?
It's a little bit of both, yeah, and we try to do it a little bit different every year, and thank you. You're actually getting my, you're jogging my memory here and my creative juices a little bit, because I do try to do something a little bit different with the readings, and so some year area clergy will read the lessons. I've invited youth some years to read the lessons. I've invited community members. One year we had members of CREM.
Yes,
do the readings, yeah.
Yes.
And so now you've got me thinking, what am I going to do this year?
And that's really just the way to do it. I mean, it is, you're heading right into the season, right? Something that is just wonderful is the bell choir.
Absolutely.
Oh, how often do they perform?
They, that's a good question. I would say that they perform in our church services maybe 5, 6, 7 times a year.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And they are a part of our Lessons and Carols service as well.
Oh, that is just great. And I have to tell you, I was watching, it's on YouTube, of course, now. So we attended and sit here, and for those of us who've been a little nervous during COVID, and I say post-COVID, though it still has made its presence known, it's on YouTube.
It is.
And
the Chronicle was actually gracious enough to video it last year.
Yes.
Did a fantastic job, and I heard a comment, interestingly, this week about that. I think Yankee Chronicle came up, and they filmed the Lessons and Carols service last year, and it's still up, and so.
But there's nothing like attending in person.
Very true.
It really is. It does really get you ready. What do you want people to be thinking about as we enter the season this year? What's your message? What's significant to you, Pastor?
There's always hope, and that's what the Christmas season reminds us of. There's always hope. And Lessons and Carols, as I say, is a wonderful introduction into that frame of mind.
Sure. And I love that, a message. It's a simple word.
It is.
The simplest things are the
best.
It really is.
That's what's true, and so we have to remember that.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful, and a great message for all of us today. Okay, before we wrap it up, tell us the message that you'd like to send about the church. Anything coming up you'd like us to pay attention to?
Well, what I can do is just remind folks of time and date. So the Lessons and Carols service will be on December 15th this year at 4 o'clock.
typically is on a Sunday,
It is,
late in the afternoon. So
Correct.
at 4 o'clock. Okay, so
Right.
we'll make our plans to head over and
be
attend the
gathered here to
service.
worship.
And Pastor, 14 years. I'm still in shock. I remember when you were new, right? And now not as new anymore.
Right.
That's right.
Old? Is that what you meant?
No. Just that other thing, the opposite of old.
Right.
Pastor, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you a joyous holiday season.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura and Charles. What a great way to refocus on the season. When we return, we'll get to meet some of the beautiful animals that have provided sanctuary at the Bark and Bray farm in Wilmot. But first, these words from another local business that has yours and our interests at hand.
This program is supported by Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, AccuMail, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications.
Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Elizabeth DeRazio, coming to you from MJ Harrington Jewelry on Main Street in Newport. For the last 3 weeks, Laura James has given us a fall visit to the Bark and Bray Sanctuary Farm. We've heard about the why and how you can help, but today let's meet some of these beautiful creatures that Jen and Ben have dedicated their work to. Laura?
So I want to talk a little bit about the stories. Here we are at the farm sanctuary. You rescue farm animals who've had really sad past, not even difficult. They've really just had rough lives, and you take them in and take care of them. It does my heart such good. Thank you so much. I'm looking at this beautiful paint. She's a miniature horse, and that's Queen Bee.
Yeah, so we were looking for a friend for Al, the other mini horse, and I started an online search at rescues, and I found this local rescue called Home at Last Farm, and they had this beautiful girl, Queen Bee, but she wasn't getting adopted. It was because she was terrified of people. She was very reactive and, would act like she would kick someone or react in a physical way.
Yes.
So they had a lot of people come visit her, but no one was ever a good fit until Ben and I went to visit her. I met her, and the owner said, here's her halter. I'm going to walk away and see if you can halter her. And I was like, I just watched you try to do that for 5 minutes, and she didn't let you.
It didn't work, right.
So she left me there, and I was like, okay, well, I'll try. And within a couple minutes, she actually let me approach her, and I put the halter on her.
Oh, how wonderful.
And she said, oh my gosh, you're the first person she's ever allowed to touch her. So I was like, that's a sign she's coming home.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so happy, so happy. And she has a friend I see with her right now.
Yep, that's her boyfriend, Al.
Al, and they hang together. It looks like they're herd bound.
Yeah, they're bonded, and Queen's 35 and he's about 10, so there's a big age difference.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, Sybil the goat was found wandering the streets in Ware, New Hampshire in this past June. She was emaciated and in a terrible, critical state. She was wandering back and forth on a 50-mile-per-hour road, dodging cars, and this couple just stopped and wanted to help her. They called the police, and the police said, you should just leave her there because she's probably not going to make it. And this couple didn't give up on her. They called every rescue they could think of in the area, but no one could take her. They found us by widening their Google search, and my husband Ben answered the phone with their call and said, we'll try to help. She sounds pretty bad, but we'll try. So we brought her here, and she had to get everything under the sun done to her, IV fluids, multiple antibiotic injections, and she's miraculously pulled through against the odds.
And she's joyous. Now we see in just a matter of months pictures of her jumping and hopping and leaping and playing with the other animals. And I hear you got her a friend.
We did get her a friend because she was a lone goat, and she was thriving, and she just needed that emotional, mental companionship that friends
we all
bring,
do,
right?
don't we? Really, and how wonderful. That is
love
just
each
so
other.
wonderful. And I see someone walking. Is that Hagrid?
That's Hagrid.
And tell us about Hagrid.
Hagrid was adopted from MSPCA in Methuen, Massachusetts. He has been here for probably close to 7 years. He was adopted out as a teacup pig as a baby.
Oh, wow.
So people bought him thinking he was going to stay small, but
Sure.
they were swindled into thinking he was a teacup pig, but he just grew and grew.
Right.
And then he became behavioral, and they didn't know what to do with him, so they just locked him in an apartment room.
No.
And then he got so fat he couldn't walk or see.
Bless his heart. Yeah.
So eventually they surrendered him to the MSPCA.
Sure.
And then he shortly came here. He was the lone pig, but he had no social skills, and he was already middle-aged at that point.
Right.
So he didn't do well with other pigs. So we brought him here as the lone pig, and
he's happy as a clam.
He's happy. He's lost a lot
Yeah.
of weight.
Can he see?
He can see now. He lost
Wow.
a lot of weight, and he's best friends with our feral barn kitty.
Oh, I love. You have a wonderful herd, and then your donkeys, of course. You have Little D and
Big D.
And how did you come to have them here?
They are ambassadors, so they actually are the only animals that really don't have a bad past.
Okay.
So they were the gateway into farm animals
Oh,
for
that's
us.
wonderful.
So they're great for education and interacting with the public because they are friendly and
Sure.
can do a lot of education.
Why is it important for us to support your efforts here?
I think we make a big impact in the lives of animals. So animal welfare is overlooked a lot of the times as maybe something that's not important, but we can make a big impact through education, getting people excited about learning about animals, and also just having people be aware that animals do have personality and needs. And I
Absolutely.
think our social media page tries to highlight that.
So thank you for those stories. And farm animals are often overlooked as well. So we're so grateful for all you're doing here at Bark and Bray, and you're in Wilmette. I would encourage you to check the Facebook page and also go on Instagram. The stories, Jen, are wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all you're doing.
Thank you, Jen and Ben. Just a reminder that there are several ways you can help them, and many hands make light work, they say. Thanks to our good friends here at MJ Harrington in Newport for hosting us during the holiday season. Their commitment to exceptional craftsmanship and thoughtful customer service go hand in hand with their dedication to the community. Your Yankee Chronicle steps aside for the balance of the year as we bring you the lessons and carols from the First Baptist Church in next week's time slot. Tune in to Live Game of the Week this Friday at 6:53, featuring Newport hosting the Kearsarge boys in basketball action, with replays every Sunday and Monday at noon and 7 p.m. You can find it on Comcast 8, TDS 13, and 1013, and at ycnnow.com and on demand. Check the program schedule at ycnnow.com for the latest updated information on games, Yankee Chronicle, and specials. Enjoy the balance of your holiday season. And for our Christian viewers, Christ is born, glorify Him, and have a safe and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Join us again in 3 weeks at this time after New Year's for a round of your who, what, when, and where show of the Lake Sunapee region. I'm Elizabeth D'Orazio. Stay safe, everyone.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire since 1997, with roots going back much further as the country press, ecumenical, and the home of the Kearsarge shopper. Echo Communications. Main Street Bookends of Warner, for books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner. The Innertown Record, your weekly hometown community newspaper covering the Kearsarge Sunapee Sunshine region of New Hampshire. The Innertown Record.